Well, happy day after Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you did more thanking than you did eating. Think of that. Think if we got together with family and loved ones and we spent as much time giving thanks to God as we do eating the food and preparing the food and cleaning up the food. Can you imagine? I mean, it'd be hours. And yet, sadly, and I don't know what we do about it, but sadly, you think we spend hours preparing the meal, eating the meal, cleaning up the meal, and we spend maybe a minute giving thanks to God and thanking God for the meal and all his provision, all his blessings. You know, my understanding is in the early days of America with the pilgrims, Thanksgiving Day would be a day for church services where they would come together and have church services to give thanks to God. And then they would go celebrate and feed and feast and all that. And I wonder if we had services on Thanksgiving morning in our churches, how many would come? How many we could get to come? And yet, it says a lot about where we're at. Let's be thankful people. Let's be grateful people. We were talking yesterday looking at First Thessalonians 5:16 to 18, where God gives three specific commands to his church, to his people: rejoice always, pray without ceasing, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. So, a lot of times people say, I wish I just knew what God's will for my life was. I don't know what God's will is. Well, don't even be overly concerned about his specific will until you start heeding his revealed will, his particular will versus his spelled out will. Right here, and there's other places where, like in First Thessalonians 4, it says, this is the will of God for you, even your sanctification, walking in purity and holiness. That's the will of God. Here it says the will of God for us is to rejoice, pray, and give thanks. That's clearly spelled. We don't have to pray about it or wonder about it. What's God's will for my life when it comes out? We know God's will. We're to rejoice, and not just rejoice, but rejoice always. Try that one. We're to pray, and not just pray, but pray without ceasing. Try that one. And we're to give thanks, but not just give thanks, but give thanks in everything. Try that one. And you say, that's impossible. I can't pray always. I can't or rejoice always. I can't pray without ceasing. I can't give thanks in everything. Again, God would not command us to do something that we're incapable of doing. And once more, this is not in the original Greek when this was penned. This was not in a suggestive mode or an idea. It's a command. It's a present imperative active, a command to do something involving continuous repeated action. So we are to always rejoice, continuously rejoice. We're to always pray, pray without ceasing. We're to always give thanks in everything. Now, we need to mention that it says in everything, not for everything. You don't give God thanks for what the devil is doing. If the devil lays some terminal disease on you, like cancer or something like that, you don't give God thanks for it. That'd be ridiculous. God's a good God. He's a healing God. He's not the one bringing sickness and disease and tragedy and cancer and turmoil and trouble into people's lives. The thief, John 10:10, comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Jesus came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. Don't say you're tempted of God when you're tempted, James tells us. No man is tempted of God. We need to understand that God is a good God. The good things come from God. Every good gift, every perfect gift comes from above, from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. And he goes on to say, do not err, my beloved brethren. Don't fall into error by blaming God for trouble in your life and bad things in your life. Somebody says, well, God allowed it. Well, it's because of mankind's free will. He's not overriding our free will or other people's free will. Plus, we're in a fallen, sinful world. And plus, the devil is the God of this world. It's not God. Why, people, that big question, why do bad things happen to Christians, or why do bad things happen to people? I say it's simple. 3 S's: sin, Satan, and self. And we're out of time. We'll take it up there tomorrow. God bless you. Be thankful.